AWS is currently giving away $200 in free credits to anyone who signs up. If you haven't grabbed those yet, you go to AWS, sign up with your email, and you get $100 instantly. Then they walk you through a few tutorials step by step, and you get another $100 for completing them. It takes maybe 20 minutes, and I'll just link the sign up in the description. Now, most people take those credits, open Bedrock console, pick a Claude model, and just chat with it through the AWS website, which is fine, but you are basically just using it as another ChatGPT tab. Now, if you are someone like me, and if you are watching this, you probably are, you don't just want an AI you can ask questions to. You want it actually to do things. Write code, edit files, run commands, operate your machine, an AI agent, not just a chatbot. And that's what Claude Code is. And the problem is getting your AWS credits to actually power it inside an IDE like VS Code, which is way less obvious than it should be. So that's what this video is about. Now, the problem is when you install Claude Code extension and open it for the first time in VS Code, you get three options. Sign in with your Anthropic account, enter your API key, or connect through AWS. You click the AWS option and it opens a website that basically just says, here's what Bedrock is, no actual instructions. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the full step from zero so that by the end, Claude is running inside your IDE like VS Code and pulling directly from your AWS credits. No Anthropic subscription needed and no API key costs at all. So there are four stages to this. Setting up your IAM credentials, connecting your machine to AWS through CLI, grabbing your model ARN from Bedrock, and wiring it all inside VS Code. And I'll go through each one properly. First, we need to give your machine permission to talk to your AWS account. AWS manages that through IAM, which is basically Identity and Access Management. Think of it as the bouncer for your AWS account. Instead of logging in through a browser every time, you create a dedicated key that your terminal can use to authenticate silently. In your AWS console, search for IAM in the top search bar and open it. In the left sidebar, click Users, then Create User, give it a name you want, and click through to the permission setup. Here, you need to attach a policy. Click Attach Policies directly, search for Amazon Bedrock Full Access, and select it. This gives the user permission to call Bedrock's API, which is what Claude will be doing every time you send a message. Without this, you will get access denied errors with no clear explanations as to why. Finish creating the user, then click into the user you just made. Go to the Security Credentials tab, scroll down to Access Keys, and click Create Access Key. It will ask what you're using it for. Select Command Line Interface, which is CLI. Click through the confirmation, and you will land on a page showing your access key ID and secret access key. Now, this is important. This is the only time AWS will show you the secret key. So make sure you copy both values somewhere safe. Right now, even a Notes app is fine for the moment. Once you leave this page, the secret key is gone and you would have to generate a new one. Now we need to install the AWS CLI, a small program that lets your terminal talk to AWS. If you already have it, you can skip ahead. But if you don't, then you can follow the steps that I'm just about to explain to you. If you are on Mac and you have Homebrew, just run brew install AWS CLI in your terminal. That's the quickest way. If you don't have Homebrew or you are on Windows, just go to the Amazon CLI website. I'll link it in the description. Download the installer for your OS and run it. Standard installer, nothing unusual. And once it's done, just open your terminal and run this command. If you get a version number back, you're good. If you get command not found, the installer didn't complete properly. Try reopening the terminal first. And if that doesn't fix it, just rerun the installer. Now run AWS configure. It will ask you four things one by one. The access key ID, the secret access key. These were the ones that we saved earlier. Then it will ask you default region name. This should match to the region name of your AWS account as well. Now this matters because if you use a different region and forget to update the config, you will get model not found errors. Then it asks you for default output format. Just hit enter. It doesn't affect anything here. That's it. Your machine now has a saved profile called default that contains your credentials. When anything on your machine says use the default AWS profile, it's using exactly what you just entered here. To verify it worked, just run this command in your terminal and you should get back a small JSON response with your AWS account ID and user info. If you get an error, something in the configure step didn't save right, just run AWS configure once again and you should be good to go. Now we need one more thing from AWS before touching VS Code, the model ARN. ARN stands for Amazon Resource Name. It's basically a unique ID that AWS uses to refer to any specific resource in your account. When Claude Code talks to Bedrock, it needs to know exactly which model to call, and it uses this ARN to do that. The reason you can't just copy mine or find a generic one online is that Bedrock uses what's called a cross-region interference profile, an ARN that's tied to both the model and your specific AWS account. So everyone's ARN looks similar, but it's slightly different. In the AWS console, search for Bedrock and open it. In the left sidebar, look for cross-region interference. It's under the foundation model section. You will see a list of available models. Find the Claude model you want. I would recommend Claude Sonnet as a starting point. It's the best balance of capability and cost. Just click on it. You will see a field called Interference Profile ARN. It's a long string that starts with ARN AWS Bedrock. Copy that entire string. You will paste it into your VS Code config in the next step. Now come to VS Code and install the Claude Code extension from the VS Code marketplace if you haven't already. Just search for Claude Code and you will find it by Anthropic. Once it's installed, don't open it yet. We are going to configure it first. So just hit Command+Shift+P if you are on Mac. And if you are on Windows, just hit Control+Shift+P. This will open the command palette. Now type user settings JSON and select preferences. Open user settings JSON from the drop down menu that opens. This opens a JSON file where you can set VS Code configuration. Paste this snippet inside the outermost curly braces. Now, if you want to know what each of these line does, I'll just explain it to you in a second. But if you don't, you can just skip this part. Let me walk you through what each of these does. First is AWS profile, which is set to default. This tells Claude Code which saved credential profile to use. And default matches the profile name that AWS configure created in the last step. Then comes AWS region. We need to set it up exactly like we did in the previous steps. Then comes Claude Code use Bedrock. This should be set to 1. This is the key 1. This tells Claude Code to skip the Anthropic login entirely and route all requests through AWS Bedrock instead. Without this line, it just ignores everything else and asks you to sign in again and again. Then comes Anthropic model. Here you will paste the ARN model ID that you copied from Bedrock console. Now allow dangerously skip permissions. By default, Claude Code pauses and asks you approval every time it wants to run a command, create a file, or make a change. That permission behavior is there for a good reason. It keeps you in control. This setting turns that off. So Claude just acts without asking. If you have used Claude before, then it's similar to what bypass permissions does for you. So if you are just starting out with AI coding tools and you are not sure yet what Claude will and won't do on its own, just leave this line out for now. You can always add it later once you are comfortable. If you are already used to it and you find the constant prompts slowing you down, this is how you turn them off. Save the file, then fully restart VS Code, close it and reopen it, not just reload the window. When it comes back up, just open Claude Code. Now, instead of a login screen, it should go straight into a chat session. That means it's connected and you are now using AWS credits. A quick thing to know going forward, your $200 in credits covers a lot of usage, but it's not unlimited. You can track exactly what you have spent in the AWS console under billing and cost management. They will also give you a step-by-step tutorial to set this up when you are aiming for that additional $100 in credits. So set yourself a budget alert so you are not surprised whenever it hits that particular budget that you have set. If you hit any issues, usually it's either the region mismatch, the wrong IAM policy, or the ARN not being copied fully. If it is something else, then ChatGPT is gonna be your best buddy over here. Because when I was setting things up, I also had ChatGPT open in one window and I was just asking it constantly about anything that I was unable to understand. So it helps you debug and it does debug everything over there. So you can just directly go to ChatGPT and ask it that, okay, give it the context that this is what I have done till now and this is the issue that I'm facing. And it will give you exactly the steps that you need to follow in order to debug that issue. If this saved you the hour of figuring it out yourself, then do subscribe for similar videos that I'll be posting in the future.